All right, let's talk email management. So whether you are managing your loan officer's email or your own email, I have a triage formula for you where you can go through and quickly triage, assess, clean up the email inbox so that way you can stay more organized and not miss anything. All right, so these are the 5 buckets. This is how I go through my inbox and how I categorize everything. So I'm going to go through each of these 5 buckets in a little bit more detail, but this is the overview right here. Act now. I'm going to need a minute. FYI, things that you're copied on, the magazine rack, and ads and offers. These emails are either ones that you need to urgently respond. So it's something that, like, there's a funding or some kind of emergency where they need an answer right away. So you need to either get the answer or respond so that it's not stalling the next phase of operations. Or it's a quick win. It's something that you can answer really quickly because you already know the answer. So if you can answer the email in 5 minutes or less, go ahead and get that out of your inbox by answering the question and either deleting the original email because you have your sent email, or filing it away. Those quick wins, those quick urgencies, that's something that you can get through your inbox very quickly and triage that way by just going through all of your emails and the ones that you can respond to very quickly, making sure you handle those right away. The next category is I'm going to need a minute. So this is something that you do need to respond to, but you need to research something or you need to ask a question from another person or another department. So that's something where you could respond quickly. So you could respond back and say, hey, I'll have an answer for you about this tomorrow, or I'm going to need a couple of days to research the answer to your question and then I'll get back to you. And then make sure you're either scheduling the response. So you either snooze the email if you're using the snooze feature. I use Outlook, so I use the snooze feature there. Or if it's something that you are going to have to research and dig deep on, then make sure you're putting that time on your calendar so that you have it. But these are emails that you cannot answer quickly, but you do need to either put them in a folder where you're going to tackle all of those tasks, during a certain block of time, or you're going to color code it in some way so that you need to get back to this. But these are typically emails where you're going to have to schedule some time in order for you to find the answer or find the answer, research the answer. It's something that cannot be answered right away. And so that's why you're basically saying, I'm going to need a minute. And this is over the 5-minute rule. I don't know about you, but I'm copied on a lot of emails where I don't necessarily need to respond. It's just an FYI. So it's something that I either delete or file away into the client's folder if it's just an FYI, something that I'm copied on. So it's thank you so much for the info, heard, but you don't even need to respond to these emails. I would just file them away. You can even set up rules for your emails that if it's got a certain loan number or client name, that it automatically gets filed away into that folder and then you can review them later at the end of the day. But if it's something that you want to see throughout the day, then you could just keep them in your inbox. And then when you're doing your triage session, you would just file away at that time. So I call these magazine rack emails. When I'm going through my inbox, I personally have subscribed to certain newsletters or people that provide commentary on the market, or they might have some other expertise that I'm interested in. And so I subscribe to either their blog post or newsletter, and I may be interested in reading those things. So some of them, like if I look at the headlines, I'm like, I'm not really interested, then I'll just delete them. But if there are other ones where I would like to read that article, then I either snooze them or flag them for review during that time. And I have a designated time on Fridays where I do all my magazine rack reading. And it's normally like a skim, unless there's something that I want to take a little bit longer to dive into. But I schedule all of these. I put them aside as I'm doing triage through my inbox. I'm moving them into that magazine rack so that I can review those later. So if you look at something and you're like, ooh, that sounds interesting, or When we go over the ads and offers, instead of you classifying it as an ad or offer, you may put it into the magazine rack category, and it's something that you want to read later and explore later. And then finally, we've got the ads and offers. So these are exactly, there's nothing really for me to explain. These are ads, these are offers, these are promotions. So depending on your loan officer, they may get a lot of these, they may get a little bit of these. It may be even internal ads, promotions, products that are being offered by your company or products that are being offered by other lenders. So it's something where you can, if you are reviewing these for your loan officer, you can ask them, are there certain things that you want me to keep a lookout for? Or do you want these all put in a certain folder? Or do you want them categorized a certain way? So I have set up rules where there are certain ads and offers, like repeat organizations or companies that are sending things to me, that I have them automatically categorized and put into an archive folder, so they are deleted from my inbox, so I don't really see them, but they are searchable. So I can always, if I wanted to search, for example, DSCR, or I want to search, bank statement loan, I could do that in my email, and it would find possibly some ads, promotions, or offers that I could then review at that time. But I don't really spend my time going through any of the ads or promotions. I just sort of delete them unless I see a headline that's interesting, and then I may put that in the magazine rack. Or the other day, I had someone send like a program that I hadn't seen from another lender, and so I immediately, because it was a 5-minute rule thing, I reached out to that account executive and say, hey, can we get on a call? Can we schedule a call sometime this week or next so you can give me the details of the program? So that's me not really having to read anything. Someone can explain it to me, and I can set up a time for them to go over that with me in detail. So you can use it that way as well. When it comes to email management, you want to have goals for yourself. So you want to have a daily goal or even weekly goal. I know that some loan processors and some assistants like to have a zero inbox rule. That's your choice if that's your thing. That's not really my thing. But you may want to have what I recommend is that you block out time when you are going to be doing this triage. So you're going to be sitting down, and you say there might be a time in the morning and there might be a time in the afternoon where you're going to go through and you're going to organize and review and go through your email inbox and make sure everything's organized, prioritized, and you know where everything goes. And then in terms of daily and weekly goals, you want to check with your loan officer. Is that something where are you cleaning up their emails for them? And do they have certain expectations? Do they expect a net zero inbox at the end of the week, or God forbid, at the end of the day? But what is their expectation in terms of how they want their email inbox to be managed, if that's something that you're doing for them? But you yourself should at least set up goals for yourself. What does your schedule look like in terms of reviewing your email, doing the triage exercise at least twice a day? I wouldn't recommend that you are going in like every 5 minutes. That's just inefficient. So in order to be an efficient worker, assistant, whether you're a loan officer assistant, whether you're an admin, whether you're a loan processor, you're a junior loan officer, I recommend turning off those notifications, the dings, the pop-ups that come up and distract you from your work. If you have certain checkpoints, so I have one in the morning where I'm doing triage, and then one later in the day where I'm doing triage. And then if I get breaks like in between calls, I might do a brief look at I'll glance at my email and say, okay, is there anything urgent right now? I got all, this call was supposed to be, 45 minutes, but I was able to finish it in 30 minutes. I've got 15 minutes to quickly do a little bit of triage. You could do it like that. But living in your email all day, I don't think is very efficient. And so that's why I think it best to kind of set up these buckets so that you can quickly go through and kind of do it without having to spend so much brain power on just email. So hopefully you found this helpful for you, and let me know what are some of your goals when it comes to your email. Are you a net zero person, or you try to just limit it so that you have, less than 50 emails in your inbox? what are the things that work for you. And as always, you are invited to come over to school where that is where I store a lot of the resources. So job aids, checklist, anything that I've been accumulating as part of some of these lessons. I store it there in school so that you have access to be able to download things there. We are also building community there so we can help each other. We can brainstorm ideas and we can support each other through those challenges. So if you have anything that is a big challenge for you, especially when it comes to email, reach out. Let me know what you need help with. I primarily work in Outlook, so some of the things I mentioned today are what I'm used to in the Outlook platform. But if you're more of a Google person, tell me what tools that you use in Google to keep yourself organized.